Hi, Seth and Harv. How are you guys? Thanks so much for taking the time.
Hi, Matthew. How are you?
Man, great. Good to see
Love
you.
it. I love it, man. There's a whole story behind that for people who are tuning in and watching this, but I'll have to tell you behind the scenes. You
I'm just
guys,
gripped by everything behind you and all the awesome
No,
stuff that you have.
I'm loving it.
okay. So I actually just pointed this out, but now I'm going to point it out again because it's always fun for me to point out. Look, it's like I
Wow,
have
so
a
you
hat.
got like a DC shelf. What? The what?
It's like I have a hat. Like I have a little gnome hat.
Oh
And
yeah,
if I
you got
move,
like a dino
yeah, it's like a
spine.
little
That's
hat.
cool.
That's perfect. I love it. I
Yeah,
don't
Oh,
know
it's an
why.
that's really
actual
good.
gnome. That's funny.
Um, yeah, I'm a giant nerd. In more ways than one, it'll become very
Aren't we all?
apparent.
Yeah, you're in a safe place.
Well, so I'm your guys' work is amazing, and you guys through your animation studio do so many different styles, and so I was very intrigued to meet the Von Dingles,
Yep.
who I didn't actually even know what to really expect, and then seeing a bunch of like adorable yet feisty eggs fighting zombies, and like it was fantastic. So kudos on that. Made a delightful impression. We'll get to. I know you got some big things planned for them and kind of coming up here, which we'll get to in a second. But just on the short film itself, what kind of led to the idea of those particular characters, that concept, that kind of weird crossing over with the real world?
Yeah.
Um, I'll just say that we love hybrid stuff, and as creators, one of our favorite things is to combine fantasy with reality in a way that both emphasizes some of the mundane nature of things that are so fantastic, but also makes things that are super fantastic feel really accessible. So just from a visual style, it's always exciting to be able to bring something like sentient ambling eggs into the concept of Halloween or anything that relates to the real world. So when Harv came to us and said, "I want to know what happens to the eggs that don't get found on the Easter egg hunt," and we were like, "What are you? What are you talking? What? What are you talking about?" He goes, "Because I think the only logical conclusion to draw is that if these eggs are not discovered, they're going to grow arms and legs and struggle to create a misfit society where they're forever on the run in search of being found. Like, what if we're found?"
It won't be pretty.
Yeah, well, we've made it this far. Any egg that was ever found was destroyed.
Yeah.
My brothers. My family.
Yeah. And the way our studio works, we do a lot of fun TV shows. We do Robot Chicken, we did Crossing Swords and m.o.d.o.k, and we work with a lot of really great and talented artists. And we do other work for hire commercials and things, but when there's some downtime, like in between some of these bigger projects, we try to schedule some stuff to do. And Seth and I, Matt and Towner, were talking a couple years ago about this egg thing. And, luckily I tricked them enough to get some momentum to actually make it. And, it was a real kind of down and dirty shoestring type situation, but we set it up in between the other stuff we were doing. But it was really fun to do. I mean, I'm a big fan of shooting things in a low angle, making them look really big and epic. On Crossing Swords, I was really into that. Just the depth of field and making these small little dumb things look really important. And on the short, I think that we were able to help convey that these little eggs are really big and massive.
Well, you're really just selling this all wrong. Well, because the reason why we wanted to do this is because there's no way to explain it to anybody. Yeah. You're not going to be able to explain this to anybody. You just have to say, "Hey, look at this. Here's what it is. It's these eggs, and they're living, and they fight, and there's a bad, and then also humans." Yeah, like, there's no way. No, everyone's just no one. So that's the thing that we've gotten really good at, I think, or at least comfortable with in our business, is just making something to prove it. Because nothing's more convincing than an example of the thing, and you can't expect anybody to have the same imagination that you have. So with something that we thought was so interesting, so kind of undeniable, but also impossible to explain, the only thing for us to do was to make some short that would really clearly demonstrate the world, what the characters could be, what their conflicts could be, what their emotional rises and falls could be. So that's why we made short.
Yeah, and that's true. Like every show that we've done has always started. There's always been a short that starts it like that. Because when you show and pitch shows, it's really hard to convey what you really want. You know, we can be like, oh, you know, Seth is going to do a voice on it, and the character is going to look like this, and they're going to do this, and it's like,
for all we know, they're just not thinking of the same color blue that we're saying. And if we mention, you know, if we throw any kind of comparison up, whether it's Aardman or Guardians of the Galaxy, they interpret such a clean expectation of a one-to-one comparison that who knows what they thought of Chicken Run. Like, you don't know if they liked Moana for the same reasons that you did. So anything that you draw a comp to, it works against you. And we always find a value in just saying, watch this, and we'll show you what we want to make.
We can't say this is Hogan's Family Meets Nightmare Before Christmas, because even though that sounds really clear.
I just have to ask, Matt, do you know what the Hogan family is?
Yes.
Yeah. You know,
because as you can see by the beard, the gray's coming.
All right.
That's how you
All right,
tell.
so old enough to remember the Hogan family reference. That's fair. I won't shoot you down for that, Harv. I'm sorry.
Typically, I'm the one making those references in our Slack, and I go, God, that's a very old reference, and like no one gets that. I think, oh my God, I brought up Small Wonder one day.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Conversation, and I went, oh man, we really need I need to do some kind of twisted revival of that. And someone was like, what? I was like, Robot Girl.
Yeah.
They looked at me.
That was a great show.
Blank face. I was like, yeah, okay, we're good. I was going to stop talking.
We had these writers come into Robot Chicken, the Libman brothers. They've both gone on to do much more exciting things. They had written a spec script, which was the last episode of Small Wonder. And it was like a reunion. Jamie comes back from college and Vicky is still functioning, but barely. It's so dark. It's so dirty. And I read it and I was like, it's unproducible on a million different levels.
Wow.
But as a spec, I was like, I got to meet these writers. Like,
wow, that's really funny.
Guys.
I got to read that.
You should track it down.
Yeah. So, I got to read
I can't even describe half the thing, but all of their presumptions, because there's a lot of questions about that show. A lot of questions. Like the dad was developing AI for some secret black ops government project. Yeah. And he put something into the robot body of a child, like a child girl, who then they dressed in a French maid's outfit and like had as the housekeeper, right? Which is an oddly subordinate position. And they said that she was an exchange student that they had.
Yeah, that show gets more screwed up.
But also she better work for her dinner. You know what I'm saying? So it's so many disturbing.
Answer on a teenage boy.
But it posits the neighbor Harriet has like some 19-year-old sex pot that really blossomed in college and has it in for Jamie, and Vicky perceives her as a threat and literally rips her body apart.
Oh my God, this is amazing.
It's written in multi-camera format with all of the calls for like audience gasps.
Yeah. Oh, that's really funny.
As Harriet and Jamie get closer, like audience woos salaciously. It was really clever. I don't know. I've derailed us pretty far, but it was great.
Technically, I did. Technically, I did. I derailed us.
Well, you should just know that existed, and your wildest musings have been resolved.
I'm so excited about that. I will definitely go track that down after this. Now, you guys are actually. So what's awesome about this is that the short is great on its own, but then you guys are going to be doing a Kickstarter campaign and bringing the Von Dingles and this world into the realm of, comics and graphic novels. What can you tease about the campaign? Why did you decide to go this route? Because, I mean, you guys have, worked with, television before so many times and things like that. Why did you want to go this way?
This current moment in creation and distribution is wild, because all of the exhibitors, like any of the streaming or networks, any of these companies, they've all been bought by larger companies. And so their instructions, the like what to buy or what to program, like what kind of shows, what kind of shorts, what kind of movies, those decisions are coming through an insane collective of people. And in a lot of cases, a public holding grouping of shareholders that make decisions in quarters. So this kind of show, it's going to thread a needle. You know what I mean? Where does this go? So we're always trying to gather an audience around an idea first, wherever possible. And sometimes you have something that so clearly is big pop that you can take it to one of the majors and they'll give it the huge campaign. But this kind of thing, it feels like the people that are going to love this are going to love it. And that's who we want to get it to first. So this opportunity to show people the short and let them get involved in producing a comic book, which is a place where we could really evolve the mythology. We could really tell fun stories. You can introduce these characters in far less pressurized ways than in a TV pilot or in a movie. This is a way that we can tell you everything we want about this world through something that feels more intimate, far more personal. Like when you're reading a physical book, even if you're reading it digitally, it's just you and that thing. And so when you love it and then discover other people that love it, it's something very special. So that's what we're trying to cultivate around this project.
Yeah. And I think they love, like, these characters, we started out, when we started making them, we started with 2D drawings and then we created the 3D puppets of them. But I couldn't stop thinking about how they looked as drawings. They were really cute. They have great little silhouettes and they really pop. And I don't know, it's being a little comic book curious. Matt and Seth have a long history with comics. You guys are always.
Is this your first comic, Harv?
Yeah, but you guys go back, Matt, to the Wizard days.
Is this your actual first comic book?
Yeah, this is it.
Oh.
Right here now.
It is. It's very special. Well,
I'm jealous.
I love. I grew up reading comics and got into this, like writing for it. It's I don't know, man. If you love that thing, that community, that like unfettered passion for non-existent things.
Yeah.
It's a really
it's such a fun blend.
It's also something too, man, to write something, to tell a story, and for people to read it. You have to get comfortable with just how brutal everybody is in one way or another. Like, you really put all of your heart and emotion in it, and people will just without hesitation be like, nah. Nah.
Yeah, that's true.
And not even be like, oh, congrats on that month of homework. They'll just be like, I'm peeing on it. It's less than apathy. I'm mad about this. Hey, fuck you for making something. You know what I mean? You got to be prepared and just be like, well, I tried. Just let it go. Because the people that want to read it, that will connect with it, they will.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to go out of your shell, but it's fragile.
There it is. There it is.
Well, there's just going to be a few puns here and there. Don't worry, not many.
So okay. So after that pitch from Seth, are you excited now or more terrified?
Now I'm scared.
No, man. When Hugh and I put Freshman out,
real talk.
We got it in front of the real people. You know what I mean? We put out this comic and we really put our hearts into it. We're telling a story of characters that we're both deeply passionate about. Yeah. And we didn't expect it to reach 1 million people. We just expected that it could find the people who it was for.
Yeah.
And we were very surprised and grateful for how many people it spread to that we never would have thought could connect to it. So, but all the while, you get that one person in the room of 1,000 who's like, I thought this was garbage. And I had to come in person to tell you. And you're just like, wow.
I like that this is now Comic-Con with the microphone.
Yeah, I know.
It was. It was.
This is becoming a very
we,
specific example and scenario.
Yeah. I love it.
And his name was this.
No. There's just always, you'll be in a room of like 1,000 people and people are applauding and they're all like hugging each other. And someone comes up and was like, wow, I really like this character's story. You don't know what it meant. And you're just like, oh, fuck, that's what we're sharing our experience. And if anybody can relate to it, right? If we can make people feel a little less alone, that's all you're really swinging for. And then inevitably at every one of these panels, somebody needs to tell you, I haven't read this, or like,
I was going to tell you
version of just like, you suck and you'll never ever be any good. They have to tell you at least once in one of these public forums. It's a really strange impulse, I think.
This is not how I saw eggs. And you have
exactly. Arms and legs.
See what I'm saying? So we're bringing out a much better opportunity.
Oh my God. So
wow, I think I'm uncovering a little bit of like buried drama here.
Is there a little bit there?
I like this. This is it's good.
Scratching at the surface.
You could say the shells are cracking open.
Well done. So I know I gotta let you guys go here, but for the campaign, is there a possibility that to go along with successfully funding or the series, that you'll do more shorts that could also be part of that? What can you tease about the campaign and what people can expect from stretch goals and things like that?
Well, first of all, that's a really good idea, Seth. We should talk about that. We did have
love
one
to be able to make more shorts.
Yeah, that is a really good one.
Yeah.
We did talk about a studio tour and showing a little bit of how we make the Von Dingles. I think that would be something that would be really exciting for a fan to see, is just from the beginning to end, like how we start with the drawing to the armature, the puppet, the photography. Like that could be a fun thing.
Our goal is to document everything. But then there's costs and labor associated with editing, any kind of stuff. But one of the things that we really love to share, we find is something everybody loves, is just understanding how much goes into it, and how the hell it works. And we love sharing that.
For some people, that's interesting. And for them, boy, we got you covered.
Well, I am one of those people that finds those kinds of things.
Boy, we got you covered.
There it is. And I gotta say the short was delightful, but I didn't see, when I saw the hand come in and grab the cart, I thought it was like oh, that's a fun breaking of the fourth wall of an animator took the thing. That's what I thought it was going. And then when I saw them all splatter across, I was like, oh, that is not this. I thought that was a great fun little twist.
And I will say for that action, because I won't spoil it yet, but I actually never did that before. So I felt we did it at our studio. So it was a studio controlled environment thing, but it felt really bad. I don't know how much shenanigans, Seth, you got into as a kid, but I felt really guilty, and I'm like, oh, this doesn't feel right. But it's for the sake of the short.
I got into a lot of shenanigans as a kid. I had to learn and be taught over and over again what was and wasn't.
We are uncovering all sorts of layers, I feel like.
No, that's insane. Who would go around and smash eggs on cars and houses? That just seems so obnoxious. Have you ever had to clean up eggs? I have. It's not something.
Not good.
No, I have not. Well, guys, this is awesome. I can't wait for the I'm a huge comics fan, obviously, so that medium is kind of always I'm very partial to it. There's just something about it that is unique and fun, and I can't wait to see this adorable crew of characters, especially the Sergeant Slaughter looking egg. I hope to see.
Yeah, he's tough.
Yeah, I hope to see more of that. This looks awesome. So all the best success on the campaign.